Season 1 Battlefield 6 has now released with the Battle Royale, the Battle Pass, and Gauntlet mode, and you are going to want to learn about that one and a bunch of other updates. Hey everyone, I'm Caveman, and in this video, I'm going to be covering everything in Battlefield 6 from launch all the way to this new update for Season 1, ending with some tips and tricks. I do have chapters. Feel free to jump along to whatever you want first, but we're going to be starting with what makes Battlefield 6 fun. And this is going to be more of a general review of the regular game modes and the campaign. If you already watched a lot of reviews, you probably don't need it, but if you're new to Battlefield 6, I'd highly recommend just seeing what makes Battlefield 6 different and more enjoyable than a lot of the other shooters that are out there right now. Then we're going to be diving into the Battle Pass and Pro, and then ending with those tips and tricks. Now, your game time is being fought over right now. There are 3 major first-person shooters that are dropping within a month period. Battlefield 6, obviously. We have the Outer Worlds 2 with the really immersive RPG. And then we also have Call of Duty Black Ops 7, which I'll be sweating out in PvP and doing Zombies Easter egg. I'm going to be covering all 3 of these games and comparing them to each other to really figure out which is the best FPS of Q4 2025. If you're interested, hit that subscribe button. You're going to want to see all 3 reviews. Now, I think this game, Battlefield 6, is really standing out because they optimize the game perfectly for player agency, meaning you as the gamer have so many ways to participate in these fights. And I'm going to dive into that more throughout the video, but this game, it has fully surprised me, and pretty much everyone who's not really familiar with the Battlefield series, it has more clippable moments than I have seen in any other shooter. As you scroll your feed, I'm sure you see clips with "This is cinema" with a badass Mission Impossible scene. Like, I was making this video and I do not know which clips to choose. Every game I go through my recordings and it's just like, this is awesome, this is awesome. Okay, I want to throw this in. There was so much content and I have so many shorts I'm going to pump it out. It really is incredible to see. Now, this easily points out the incredible graphics, the immersion, and the scope of combat, which I think are all 3 very important for a realistic modern-day shooter. There are those who will complain that the graphics don't feel as amazing. Like, Battlefield is known to have these incredible graphics, and I think that we're starting to reach kind of this end goal of most graphics look realistic enough. You really can't jump too much more. And the maps in this one are smaller than in the past, but I think what's really important to take away is this game is actually playable on most machines and still has incredible fidelity and frame rate. There's always going to be that trade-off between performance and player acquisition. I think Battlefield 6 has hit the sweet spot, and that is why they have sold over 7 million copies and have beat Call of Duty for the highest concurrent player record. And I just grinded the Black Ops 7 public beta, and I reached both top 1% in multiplayer and in zombies, and I gotta say, Battlefield is beating them in almost every regard. The games and art that we surround ourselves with define us and our passions, and I want to give a quick shout out to what I believe is some of the best art for your gaming setup. I've been to a lot of gaming conferences lately, and there's a lot of options, but the ones that pull me in have that deep color, great line work, and stand out on their own, like this piece right here from Gallery Panda. And I got it signed. Check this out. All right, so we are here at Gallery Panda. I got Ozzy right here. He's making this amazing Kakashi Sensei. He's gonna sign it for me. This is just woo! One of the best anime drawings I've seen in all of MCM London. I've been to Gamescom. I saw them there. This is incredible. If you guys want good anime art, this is where you need to get it. Get it right here. Highly recommend getting Ozzy's in particular. Art's just great, and dude was super chill when I met him. So, what makes Battlefield different? Well, you have that unlimited freedom. You want to camp on a rooftop sniping the whole game? Do it. You want to sit in an anti-aircraft vehicle gunning down enemies? Send it. Each of these you can spend hours and hours mastering, some of which don't really help your team at all. Like, let's take the art engineer just drawing. Some people like to just spend some time doing that. That clearly is not helping your team, but people are enjoying it and having fun. Yes, some people might get angry if they see you just wasting time or doing something useless, but this isn't a ranked sweatshop. Everyone can enjoy the game, even if there are people sandbagging. It's just a huge amount of players slapped together and having fun. And I mean fun. It's been a while since I truly had fun. I feel like we've gone and got this perception that ranked play and everything is really bringing that enjoyment, but really it's just that dopamine rush when you do get a victory, and then when you lose, you just feel disgusting. I'm not worthy. I'm bad. And so you're really just craving that dopamine rush. But when your win rate is roughly 50%, you're not really getting a net fun in ranked. And I think that's where Battlefield has really focused on bringing this fun. I like to think back to when I was a kid playing Halo until 3 or even until the sunrise, and I'd be literally laughing out loud with my friends, waking up my parents. They come storming down in the basement and be like, "What are you guys doing? Go to bed." And that was what I just remember as actually just being so happy, laughing out loud, just having a really good time. And that just isn't the case anymore with most modern shooters. And my partner pointed this out to me during the Black Ops playtest. She was like, "Are you even enjoying playing games now? Because all I hear is you screaming at your team." And it's true. I was raging in Black Ops. There's some sweaty people there. It is a really tough scene with the wall jumps, the slide. Hey, it feels great, though. I'm excited to play some ranked, but I think that Battlefield has a different aspect that I just have fallen in love with, and it may be one of my favorite shooters now, and I don't know, maybe Black Ops is going to turn some serious corners when they come out, and then we have the Outer Worlds 2, which will be coming soon. So there's a lot of cool FPSs coming. Now, I'm not saying ranked and competitive play is bad. I love them, and that need for competition is real, but it's just different to build a loyal player base. One with not just a goal to climb a leaderboard, but to enjoy these other experiences. And I think that I personally love to just bounce around. In Battlefield, I'm trying new things like almost every game. Sometimes that doesn't end well for me. I really need to dedicate time to one class, one vehicle, and really master it. Like the jets, oh my gosh. I was like, okay, I need to focus jets, because every time I get one, if it was open, I just die instantly. So I really dedicated the time. You can actually watch this video here of my experience, but I can actually win some dogfights. Not many. I was still pretty bad. There's some really good pilots out there. The OGs, they just come around, they'll whip around on you, boom, you're dead. But no, it's been really fun to do that, and I would highly suggest focus on one class to really master it before trying to just keep bouncing around, because you will then just start losing every game, having bad KDs, and that'll kind of suck. But yeah, the awesome thing about BF is they have the portal. Once again, bring me back to the Forge on Halo, where we can just build our own maps, our custom modes, and we get to play with our friends and communities. I actually made a custom sniper map trying to get those 1,000 meter plus headshots, which I never got. All right, I tried, couldn't make it. It is really hard to land those. But after testing all of these different classes, I realized I was just having fun playing around with random modes, random classes, and vehicles. I sat back and reflected on how good the week has been. I haven't even looked up a guide on like what is meta, what should I be doing. I've been learning it myself, and I really think that you should try that at first, because it's going to feel really good if you can do some of this stuff on your own and learn. And then when you do have like that fundamental and you go search the guides, it's going to make it feel a lot more satisfying. Personally, when I got my first win, my first kill flying a jet, that felt absolutely incredible. It was equivalent to winning a tournament. It was awesome. Like, I was like, I got it. It took me like 50 games. I'm terrible. Like, dude, if you see me on your team, do not let me fly in the jets. But this was a huge W in my book, and I just suggest, if you're not comfortable, go out there and just learn. All right, it will feel really rewarding when you do make it. Now, I want to take a small tangent over to the campaign. All right, this was, I wouldn't say it's anything special. All right, they had some really immersive points to make you kind of feel like you're a MARSOC Marine. And I was in the Marines for 6 years. And on that note, by the way, they don't have artillery. I mean, they got mortars, right? But I was an artillery cannoneer, and I want to bring down some 777 rain. I want to just level a whole building, and I think that'd be really cool if maybe they gave that to like a recon class where they could do it like, a certain amount of times per game, or maybe they had to get so many kills, like a win streak or something. Would be sick. I want to see it. I want to see that. Just they're bringing the rain down to this building. We got to go. We got to get out of here. This whole area is just gonna get stroked. I don't know. It'd be cool. Anyways, in the campaign, it was okay. Character growth and progression, okay. It's short, and I don't think it's going to be something worth your time. Outer Worlds 2, I think it's going to be awesome. I'm really excited to try out their campaign. But yeah, you can finish that in like a day or two. And, you won't get missions with each vehicle, which I think is really important. That's one thing that, bringing back to Halo again, like you'd be able to have a mission with a Wraith or a Banshee. And you just don't have that in this one. So it's really hard to learn all of the different vehicles. There's tank ones and some others, but definitely ways that they could have improved that. Just adding 2 more missions. It could be very simple, just like a huge aerial dogfight. I'm sure that code wouldn't take too long. Obviously, that's me as a non-developer, but I think that's something that they should be doing for sure. And then that way they get a little bit of a flight tutorial, and then you wouldn't have these lobbies where people are raging at the jets crashing the ground because I'm flying them. But anyways, the campaign assignments are not super exciting either. I would suggest doing the campaign in a hardcore. There is a really nice little weapon pack you can get in the 4th and 5th tier. This will help you scale the assignments of your assault class until you level up weapons and gear that you feel comfortable with, just to get you a little head start if you're just getting started or haven't had enough time to put in. And then when you're going through these assignments, you could try and get a couple of these others that will help save you some. One is just not getting dropped. This can be tough on hardcore, but possible if you make it. Otherwise, go and recruit and you can do it. And then you get kills using a knife gadget. The easiest way to do this is the mission with Gecko, where you could just be a drone and drop stuff. Pretty chill, even on hardcore. The pistol one is a pain. I had to do that on the President Fernando mission, protecting him. That way, you'd make sure you don't have any vehicle weapons or anything. Don't shoot when you're in the convoy trying to protect the beast. Totally fine. It works without that. And then just survive with the pistol the whole way through. I had to do that on recruit. It was a pain. But that only gets you an XP. It is an hour-long XP boost, so that is kind of good. And then the last challenge that you could do that might be worth it is collecting all 4 collectibles on the mountains, moving mountains. You get a little bit XP. It's like a 15-minute one. It's probably not worth getting all of the 4 unless you did it on your hardcore mode. But anyways, let's now discuss gunplay. And this is the major area. You'll see all the other influencers talking about how this is what's not good or it's good. I'm BF veteran and you're just a stupid COD player, stuff like that. It kind of sucks. It just sucks. I'm sorry. I think that Battlefield has learned to make some things changed so that it can draw in the largest audience, and they've done that really well. But they wanted to keep the bloom, and I think that people just don't like bloom. All right, I think that's something that's got to change. And so I think that it's just really sad when you're just lining up and you're trying to shoot. Maybe it's more realistic to have the bloom. I mean, it is in a lot of regards, but I just don't think from a game perspective, sometimes reality isn't best in the game. Now, I know there's some settings that can help this. Definitely check out some videos out there. That'll really help. But I just love like Apex Legends and COD. Like those are the best in general gunplay. And I just wish all games kind of followed their suit. And then if we talk about TTK, or the time to kill, how long it takes to kill someone, it's pretty fast in Battlefield 6. And it just doesn't give you a chance to turn on anyone and try to like turn the tide of the fight. If they get the snap on you, you're pretty much dead. There's no chance of doing that. In Call of Duty, it's even worse, right? Like that's one of the biggest complaints about some of these older gamers that are really struggling to fight against the younger kids, even myself in some extent. But I'm actually okay with it in Battlefield 6 because it is almost a slower paced game. You're not just trying to like run as fast as you can, slide, jump off a wall, shoot someone. You're actually trying to get positional changes. And that's what's so cool about the maps in Battlefield 6 is it's all about positioning. Like you know there's an objective here. There's going to be people running this way. If you're just like, I'm going to ape in there, yeah, you're probably going to die if really fast from someone that's on your flank or something. And that's something I think is really good because the maps are big. They got so much verticality. The verticality in this game is incredible. I just love how much immersion that can bring you from like being a sniper up high, really having a proper, nest, and then just being able to decide, what I want to do. And I'm going to say it here because like this TTK feels great in this aspect, but like we look like CS:GO or Valorant. I'm sorry, no thanks. I hate those shooters. I'm not a fan. Like that's just like it's just who can point and click faster. That just feels terrible. And so I think that this is incredibly a much better approach to the game. And, the other element of this is, hey, there's a sniper up there, just take down the building. Like the destructibility in this game is nuts. And I think that the hardcore campaign kind of forced you to learn how to break down a lot of stuff also. Kind of cool, being able to, break down a wall, flank around your opponents, or you just level a whole building and then there's no cover for the enemy to hide and protect their objective, and then you can actually advance. The physics engine in general is just epic. Here was a clip of me stealing a jet from their base. You can see me bail on my helo, which has got a rocket coming out, a missile or something. It gets hit, it explodes, hits the ground, the enemy jet flies up, I'm running through, I pick up the other jet. Oh, you're just so epic. And once again, this is why people are calling this pure cinema. I love these maps. I think they're awesome. Each of them have a different playstyle. Some players may hate one map for another reason. Maybe there's a sniper nest that's just really bugging you. Well, guess what? You need to think out of the box in that map. Should you focus on taking down the enemy air so that your air can actually take down the snipers and then you can all advance? Or do you need to sneak along the river, catch them off guard, flank them from the rear? And when you do it right, it feels so good. Like you figured out, oh, this is the tactic you should be using on this map. And it's just a different type of gameplay. And honestly, it feels more real and more immersive. And another reason I think BF is standing out. I literally can't express how many ways there are to play this game. It's easily worth a couple hundred hours of gameplay. And would I suggest you buying this game? Yes. You have so many options to play. I literally spent a whole game just being a gunner on a chopper. Like, this pilot was such a badass. We didn't die once the whole game, and I just got to light people up. It was freaking epic. I have done this the same with the tank, with tow missiles. Check out my clips on tow map, like on my shorts. Oh my god, I'm a lock on. All right, I don't even need lock on. Okay, it just hits. One of my other favorite pastimes is just being a sniper. There's nothing better than being out there sniping another sniper and getting those counter sniper badges. Just light them up. Hey, you're trash. Get out of my lobby. Oh, it feels so good. Hell, some people just run around being a medic, picking up bodies every game. I have some of these lobbies where guys have had 50 or 40 revives in a single match. That's just awesome. A different way for people to play. Maybe you're brand new. That seems like an easy way. You don't need to hit anything. You just see people down, you go rescue them, you're a hero, and it really does, especially on some of the different modes. That is so key. Like this clip I'm playing Raleigh right now, that literally changed the game. No one was being a medic, and we were just losing so many of our bodies. We were going to lose our count real quick, and then I'm like, I'll do it. I did my first time doing it, and I did like 39 revives the first time. It was crazy. And going back to, hey, maybe you don't like some of these modes, though you don't like some of these maps. Well, once again, Battlefield gives you that choice. You can pick which maps, which modes you want to play in from the menu, and this is just awesome. It makes it so... I just don't understand how all the games don't kind of have this already integrated. In BO7, every time I got this one map, I literally just wanted to surrender. It was so boring, not fun. But, when it comes to progression in this game, I think that's also something we should discuss, and it's pretty interesting that you have class and vehicle and weapon progression. The jets, unfortunately, is sad. They don't have anything. You can't change your loadout or anything. I think that'd be kind of cool. Maybe that's something they're working towards because there is a leveling system. Who knows? But it's just probably too hard to balance for the devs, so maybe they tabled it. Who knows? But as you level up, you unlock new attachments for your weapon systems or equipment or weapon systems on your vehicles, and that just totally changes the feel of that class in different situations. It can be a grind, though. Let me point that out, like a 1,000-hour grind for everything. But hey, that's not necessarily bad because each step feels like it's something meaningful to play around with and test out, see if that's a new attachment or new equipment that you actually want to play with. Maybe it's a little bit too long. They did do an update increasing XP, and I imagine the Battle Fast will also have a whole bunch of XP boosters to help you go through there. So I'm not complaining. I'm happy to grind. And I will give one tip just for the vehicles on your loadouts. Just so you know, you can change your loadouts in the waiting screen here just by pressing F on that vehicle, or when you land, don't move, press Y, you'll be able to change your loadout there. That's something that it took me a little while. I just learned it recently. I thought that was really cool. Just something to point out. And really, those vehicles are my favorite part. They are just so much fun playing with them, destroying them. It just feels so good, and they really are an asset on the field that can be used to sway the battle, but they're not overpowered. I wouldn't say any of them feel super game breaking. Each has a function that matters. I think some of the OG Battlefield players are complaining about the maps being too small, and this is where I can agree on one element, and that's the transport vehicles. They just don't feel as valuable. It would feel really cool, like if you had to hef it like all the way like 5 minutes, or maybe not 5 minutes, but a longer period of time. It would make those transport helos and all these different vehicles very, very important to getting to that strategic resource and really advance your objective. But I just can't express how much fun I've had in every vehicle, from learning how to use them to how to destroy them, understanding how to do capture points to get additional ones. It's just been a blast. And I haven't even mentioned Portal, or with regards to some of the testing you can do in there. Ace Combat in particular, that was one mode that I learned how to fly jets. If you want to do that, great time trial system, really can help you get in and understand it. And I imagine once they get some of the kinks and bugs wrapped out, these players are going to be making game maps and modes, and you're going to be able to test and play and have some really cool modes with all these other players. I think it's going to be awesome. Cannot wait for a whole bunch more to come out. Let's dive in to Season 1, starting with the Battle Pass and BF Pro. If you're interested in buying these just to speed up your process, unlock some new skins, that's what they're mostly made for. If you do decide, there's a couple different tiers you can get. So starting off with just free, you can get a whole bunch of rewards just by playing for free. It takes a lot longer to get through your battle pass. I haven't calculated how long it take, but I imagine it's going to take a good minute because I've been grinding all day today and I haven't made it that far. And most of it came from my 25 free tiers because I did get BF Pro. So it is going to take you a minute, plus you got the XP boost, and I've been using my XP multipliers on top of that, trying to speed up the process, and it is going to be a grind, but there's some really cool stuff to unlock. The other major thing that you get from getting a battle pass is you can get a persistent server hosting, so that's pretty important. And then if you want to host a massive server with 100 players, you'll need the BF Pro. Otherwise, there's some other interesting things. One fun one is this radio station that you get from your vehicles. It's got some really good artists like Limp Bizkit and some other things, so that's pretty cool. And then there's some other assignments that give you some extra gear and whatnot. And then you can also change your challenges with some rerolls. So it gives you a little bit more. I don't know if it's necessarily important. And if you go to the instant unlocks, you can see what kind of stuff you can unlock just from each of the tiers. So some extra skins, another XP booster, which is nice. Really cool parachute skin, which is pretty cool. And then if you get the Pro, so you get the Pro only from this, you get this awesome, this is now my actual calling card. I like this one, looks great. And then a new sword skin, and then their XP boosters. So that's kind of what you're going to get from all of this. So that's something you can consider if you want to do it. But let's dive into the games. Going into the Battle Royale, a 100-person Battle Royale. This mode is a team free-for-all, and until one squad remains victorious, there's a duo and a quad option, and this is just a wild, exciting battle of survival and skill. The map feels like it's a good size for the 100, room to explore, but not empty, and not really a sweaty drop everywhere at the start where you're just like, oh my god, I have to get a gun or it's GG no matter what. There are good regions that have lots of weapons and gear, but others that are pretty sparse, so it's important to find good ones. I particularly like to drop into the defense nexus, the chemical storage, and the marina regions. Note, you're going to find more competition there also, so it's up to you about your risk tolerance. You will find the first few minutes typical to any other BR out there, where you're just going to be starting trying to find weapons and kind of level yourself up, but then you're going to be provided missions, and this is going to be based on the area you're in, and you'll be able to compete for these missions with any other squads that are also within the area. Some specifically will put you against each other, others will make you visible to enemies, and then some are just meant for solo squads, but it's important to quickly decide which missions you want to do because they can be taken by other squads. The next important thing to consider is, what rewards do you want from a mission? I personally look through them and I see the vehicle or custom weapon drops. Those are typically the ones I find that are better, and it can really help you get to the top 12 or above. My win actually came from getting a vehicle drop, and that kept us alive and kept us safe. I will break down each of these missions at the end of the video if you want to see how each of them is solved. This period of missions will last for a little bit, and if you're efficient and not contested, you'll be able to do like 3 or 4 of these, maybe even 5 and you'll be basically set up. Your whole squad will be looking pretty good, and after each mission, if you're attentive and you just quickly select your next mission right as it populates, you can scoop up the best choice before the enemies and quickly cycle through these. Roughly around this time, the ring's going to be closing in, and there's also going to be a higher risk of engaging with the enemy. You need to start positioning on the map strategically, where you can flank an enemy team, catch them off guard, or third-party 2 squads that are already engaged. Or, maybe just go out and try to survive. Hide, find a tunnel, and, just chill. It's about this time that you're going to start losing that ability for your second life, if you still had it. I really do like this feature. It helps not punish a bad drop and allows the team to regroup after the start. And then, I'm just happy it cuts out at the mid-game and it can't be used right at the end. But it's around this point that the game just starts to fade a little bit into a regular BR. You'll have your typical rats hiding, you'll have your kill teams slaughtering the whole lobby, and it's generally good fun, but when it comes to BRs, it's one of those modes I feel it needs to have a ranked leaderboard. See, I made my entrance in the BR scene in Apex Legends, and man, it is still, to this day, my favorite, and I was hoping that the vehicles would add more, and they do, but it's just not quite enough to make it feel different from Call of Duty and better than Apex Legends. And especially without the need to get more additional kills for ranked purposes, it kind of feels like it almost favors you not to try and push hard, to drive, to get kills, to be aggressive, and you can have a lot more just laid back. Maybe that's good for the casual players, I'm not saying that. I would have to say I think I like the regular Battlefield modes more. However, there is a newcomer, Gauntlet. This is fun. This is awesome. It is a squad-based 4-round mini tournament where each round 2 squads get cut and the mission or game mode changes each time. And it's one of those 6 choices with various maps. So this provides a new and unique mode every time you play, basically. Some variation of these combinations. And since the missions are randomly selected each round, it kind of plays out differently. There's different strategies if you have 8 squads compared to 2. So it really makes these feel really interesting, and it provides subtle strategy changes each time. And I really enjoy it. Maybe it's because I just won 3 back to back to back, but oh man, it feels really good. Like now I got my win in the Battle Royale, and now I just don't want to leave Gauntlet. It's that much fun. I'm really, really quite enjoying it. And I think this is a mode that could keep me going for a while, especially if they keep adding additional modes and additional maps. It could absolutely blow up. Imagine if they start doing a lot more vehicle stuff, adding like a 32-player aerial dogfight or tank warfare. I don't know. This has potential in my eyes to be a lot more lead mode. And man, I'm really, really quite hyped about it. But the way it spices it up each game makes it refreshing and engaging. I'll now break down each of these modes, and then we'll go into the tips and tricks for the BR. The first mode is Extraction, where your goal is to collect data drives that are all over the map and deliver them to a drone. A cool bonus, if you can find and pick up multiple of them before delivering, you actually gain additional drives per pickup, so you can decide to risk it and try to pick up more, but if you get dropped, it does go to the enemy. When you are playing with more squads, say in Mission 1 and Mission 2, I would almost suggest it's better just to camp a drone location and pick them off as they get there. In all the modes, you also get that point for killing in most cases, so it's just beneficial to do that. When you get into Mission 3 or 4 and there's a lot less or even only 2 squads, it could be a big risk just to sit and wait. If they end up doing a big run, picking up a whole bunch of drives, deliver it to a different drone because there are multiple drones they can exfil, that could be a way to lose the game. Next is Circuit, and I do think this is a really fun one. You're going to be running around trying to take over sectors by interacting with the antennas. Once you do take over a section, you gain points over time as long as you hold the point. I found that in missions 1 or 2, if you hold like 3 to 5 consistently, you'll be able to pass through, but you'll need to just get some kills on top of that. Some teams don't even focus on defending them, so it's just kind of like they're on a hunt for other players. I'm honestly not sure which path is better. It'll depend on your team. Some like to spread out and just collect as many points as possible. possible and then are just scattered all over the place. But some like to leave one behind each zone and try to defend it as long as they can. I haven't played this one in mission 3 or 4, but I imagine it'd be all about holding the most zones, really trying to take 25 to 50% of the map, and then it's just having the kills be the difference. Or maybe you take over one additional zone and then over time you end up building up more points. I don't know. Super excited to try that out. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Then we have a Wreckage, kind of a search and destroy variant, but just pure chaos. There are many bombs on the map in several locations to plant them. Once you do plant a bomb, you have to defend it, and then you'll get points for kills, defusing that bomb, or actually getting your bomb to explode. And it's a tough mode on Mission 1 and 2. There's so many players, there's bombs everywhere, and most of the bombs are actually getting defused, so it's actually kind of a good way to accumulate points. Sometimes it's better just to sit at a bomb location, or where you're going to be planting it, and then wait for a person to come in. You shoot him, you take his bomb, then you plant it. That's where I found some success, but it's pretty hard to hold it down because it's like 60 seconds or so. I think it changes depending on what mission it is, but you have to hold for a minute, and it is tough. And there's 7 other squads in Mission 1, so you could plant and then have 7 squads come down on you. It's really, really hard. But if you get like 1 to 2 bombs, I think you'll be passed on to the next mission. The next mode is Decryption. In this mode, you collect beacons scattered across the map, and then you have to decrypt them by just holding onto it for a certain amount of time. However, when you're doing this, you can't move quickly or else it won't solve it, and while you're holding it, you're going to be revealed to the entire enemy teams. Now, there are a few of these all scattered on the map, so we actually found it's pretty beneficial to grab one, get in the vehicle, go to another site, grab another, and try to decrypt them at the same time. It's a little bit more risky, but it paid off multiple times. And on top of that, there's bonus points for the last minute. So sometimes you can grab all of these and then wait for at 95%, make sure you're sprinting around so it's not triggering or decrypting anymore, and then right as it hits that last minute, it solves it, you get double the points, and then it just jumps you to the first place. It's really quite cool, but something you have to watch out for other enemies doing the same thing. Maybe you have to go intentionally hunt them down, kill them, and make sure that they don't get those bonus points. We then have Vendetta, which marks one of the players as a HVT or high value target. For every few seconds that person survives, they gain points. So it's really important to chase down and kill them as fast as you can, or protect them with your lives. It's a pretty simple game mode, but I found that the maps that we played on were pretty refreshing, very small, very condensed, like high volume, lots of kills, but they are all coming from subsections of other maps or the BR map, so it's kind of cool, just making it a little interesting there. It's just, go out and kill. We also have Deadlock, which is an objective kind of King of the Hill mode where your goal is just to hold the objective. This is one where I found that the vehicles in these maps could be pretty useful if they're in there. Sometimes you get an anti-infantry or some other tanks on the map, and you just kind of roll up to a point and hold it. So people will decide pretty quickly to go to a different objective point than try to fight you if you have that. Some obviously will try to blow up your tank, but I think that this is a super easy mode. Obviously, you just got to get in there, trying to lock it down, but beware of where all the other enemy squads are. Try to scout out which ones are going for this objective, and then find the objective that has the least resistance. And the last one is Contract, which is just all about killing the enemy squads. You get massive points if you're able to wipe the whole squad, so it's really important to finish them off. And for you to keep one member of your team alive so that you don't get the squad wipe. I find that doing a 1-3 split can be pretty effective in making sure there's at least one person alive, and then you try to third party the 2 squads fighting each other, and then collect the squad wipe of one of those. Easily gets you above, you don't get wiped, you win. And even if you do attract too many enemies and your 3 members die, that's only 3 points compared to the massive 15 points for a squad wipe. Also, cool note is that if you place in the top 3 for any of these Gauntlet modes in missions 1 and 2 especially, you get bonus XP for each round. It's 1,500 for the first, 1,000 for the second, and 500 for the third. And so that's a pretty significant amount of XP per minute I'm finding, and could be the fastest way to gain XP in the game. Also, once you choose your class and loadout, you cannot change it again, so keep that in mind. Get in the Marine, it is an awesome mode. Let's jump back into the Battle Royale and break down some tips, starting with class selection. I think it's really important to have at least one engineer and one recon. The engineer is the only one who has the ability to break into safes, which are scattered throughout the map, and these come with some extra XP, extra weapons, airstrikes, and more. And there's quite a few of them all over the place. So make sure that you are either a engineer or that one of your teammates are, and you're pressing Q, pinging them every time you see them so you guys can get all the extra loot that are in there. Sometimes we even get a vehicle card, which is pretty cool. Get a tank in there, pretty nice. The other major class that you're going to have is Recon. Recon is really helpful because they can send out that drone to scout out the enemy squads, and if you can find good third-party opportunities, you can find out just where the movement is around the map, maybe where some safe routes for you to take, and also you can get some sneaky kills if you drop a bomb or use the self-destruct. I will note, self-destruct has a timer, so you have to start a little bit before you get in there and then run into the enemy, and it has a limited battery, so keep that all in mind. But it can be real cool to just get an extra kill and start your fight going in there and being able to take them down. Let's now break down each of these missions, which will start to populate roughly a minute or so into the game. Just keep an eye out for the top of your screen. Sometimes it won't pop up brightly, or there won't be a huge notification. Just always be looking up there if you're not in a mission. Sometimes it pops up, and that is really important. But once it will notify you when there's new missions provided, so that's what you can do. You'll press M, you'll be able to see your selection. It's important to note what distance these missions are taking place at. That can save you a lot of time and allow you to do more quicker. But you won't see where they are on the map until you select one. Now, I'm going to start with my favorite, which is Evasion. This is the fastest to complete, and it just makes it super fast, and it also seems to drop superior drops consistently. I got lucky in many of my games, probably, but I got superior weapon drops. I got the vehicle card, so it's been really beneficial for me to do that. Note that while this is active, you will be revealed, so it's important to quickly break these, collect the loot, and get out. The next mission I like to choose is Weapons Cache. I think this is another quick one. Very little risk, I would also say. Most people don't chase you, and even if they do, you're not being targeted or anything. But you just have to go get some cutters, then find the Weapons Cache itself. You have to sit in front of that while you're breaking it down. I think as people play this game more, maybe they'll know where all the weapon cache locations are, and they'll just camp them. So that is a potential, but I've found that no one was really tracking them. So you can go there, sit, crank it open, and then there's a load of loot. Really good early game just to get your whole team starting to ramp up. Sometimes you can find weapon cards in here as well, so just generally a good place to find. Next is Extraction. Similar to Gauntlet, you're going to be going and grabbing the 2 data drives. They'll be located a little bit separate, and you'll be pulling them to a drone. The one thing to note about this is the drone does drop yellow smoke, so it could give you guys away that you're waiting for that, and then someone could come either kill you while you're waiting or kill you once you have delivered and your prize is airdropping in. Now, the one other thing I haven't tried yet, and I want to, if you guys have done it, please comment below. If one person grabs both data drives, does it end up making 3 drives and gives you more? I don't think so. I think the rewards are already preset, but that would be interesting to test out. Let me know in the comments if you've done it. Next is Signal Hack. This was actually my favorite to actually do. I love aligning these towers. They're pretty interesting. What you need to look for is on the left side, on there's a up and down a vertical bar. You need to make sure that's centered. Then you have to do the center on the bottom center. Once both of those are centered, it'll hit 100%. You can also just do it by percentage. If you swing left or right, you'll see that it goes, it increases or decreases until you hit the spot, and then up and down, boom, you'll be able to lock in your position. So that you can do pretty quickly. Make sure you do both of those as quickly as you can, and then you have to sit and hold a position for a little bit. That's where this one gets a little dangerous. You'll be sitting in there, and if people know where that location is, they'll come and get you. But it's not too long of a wait, and then you'll get your airdrop shortly after that. But it does, potentially put you in a bad situation, especially if there's not a lot of cover and stuff. But I do enjoy doing this little mission. We then have Interception and Decryption. These two are kind of tied together. Decryption, just like in Gauntlet mode, you're going to be going, finding those beacons, trying to decrypt them. But as that's going on, another squad can be given the Interception mission, where they will be able to see you if you have one of those beacons. They can come try and kill you, or they can grab a different beacon, try to solve it before you, decrypt it before you, and they can steal your mission. So it's something quite interesting. If you want PvP, if you're feeling strong, hit those interceptions, go slay some people. But otherwise, decryption can work, but that's it slows you down. You can't run. There's a lot of danger there, so that's one that you definitely got to be considerate of. Are you strong enough to be able to fight other squads that might be in the area? But obviously, it's another mission, and if that's the only one available, you might have to take it. The last one is Headhunter. this just designates a HVT. It's similar to Vendetta in Gauntlet, but you'll have some other player you got to go out and kill, and if you can kill them, you get it. Sometimes it'll actually be vice versa, though. They'll get headhunters for you as well, so beware. They'll come for you as well. But if you can, it shows them, so it does reveal them, and then you're going on the killing spree. So if you can get it, it can be pretty cool. If you're feeling really strong, definitely take this one, but obviously there's lots of risks. Maybe you don't want PvP, you just want to try and rat your way to the end. Hey, that's a possibility. But now I want to go over some general tips that I've found that are important in this Battle Royale. And the first one's just take your shot, man. Like, you're going to miss 100% of those shots you don't take, right? Like, it might be outside of your normal range, but it could be the difference. And sometimes you just got to point and click, and you're like, whoa, this landed? And it feels pretty good. And you should be doing this in the regular game modes anyways. And I feel that Battlefield is great at this, of getting you outside of your comfort zone of what your typical range is, and being able to learn that. And I think that's translating into the Battle Royale quite nicely. So that's something just to consider. I think getting the tanks and attack vehicles is pretty confusing at first. I was like, hey, how do I get in this? I was like, with my torch, trying to burn the vehicle, the trailer, trying to get in there. I'm like, hey, how do I do this? So yeah, you have to get the card, which you can get a variety of different ways. Missions, the weapon cache, and then potentially safes. So you have to find that. Then you go and look for the trailers. Now, what you can do beforehand, because you don't necessarily know what's inside of each of them, if you press Q and ping it, it'll tell you what kind of vehicle it is. It'll be like light infantry vehicle or an attack vehicle. So then you know what kind of armor's in there if you want something specific. So that's something cool that I figured out for the weapon, for the vehicles. For the counter tanks, when you are in there, there's going to be a bonus mission for you a lot of times, where if you can survive a couple minutes, you can get an additional 3,000 bonus experience. And it's tough because everybody's coming for you, and they get a whole bunch of weapon drops and missile launchers and stuff. So it can be pretty hard. Once you get that notification, you should just run. Like, go somewhere else and find safety, because there's just too much damage that comes in. And then once you make some noise, all the other squads start swarming. It can be really dangerous. So once you see that, just try and run, and then you get that bonus XP. It can be pretty juicy. With that being said, sometimes you want to ambush people, especially if you've got that tank. What you can do is sit on one of those custom weapon drops or some other important objective in the space, and just kind of sit back, roll your tank in behind cover, wait for someone to come in, and then just light them up. Obviously, you don't need a vehicle for this, but ambushing people, I think, is really important. I've definitely gotten ambushed plenty of times. It sucks. You just gotta be, head on the swivel, really looking for where people can be hiding, where people can be going. But I think that's something that can really, really make the difference in helping you get to the late game. My final verdict. Battlefield 6 has been a very enjoyable experience. I think some of the modes are good, but the BR is kind of lacking. And that's one that I think a lot of people were like, ooh, this is kind of exciting. Will they make a new BR that actually stands out on its own? And I don't think they've quite hit the spot. Often just feels kind of like a Warzone ripoff. I think there are some fun elements, but I'm only getting maybe 10 to 20 hours out of that, and that's probably all I'm going to play. Gauntlet mode, on the other hand, another free-to-play mode, is super engaging, super exciting. I think I can dump a bunch of time into that. Then we have the actual Battlefield modes, that all-out warfare, those vehicles, all of that combat. That is what draws people in, and it still holds me so well. I think that those are the best modes, and I think that that's what's going to keep their gaming population alive for a long time. I do look forward to playing it more throughout the days, but I'm going to be jumping into the Outer Worlds 2 next. You're going to want to check out any of our reviews on that. That's going to be hopefully coming next week. But that's all I got. If you like this video, please hit that like button, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys next time. Caveman, logging off.